So you guys remember No Man's Sky, right? The game that was probably the biggest disappointment of 2016 and turned into this really big project that the developer Hello Games ended up putting a lot of work into and completely turning the game around. That one. Yeah, so it looks like Hello Games has been working behind the scenes for the past couple years to bring us a new game that isn't No Man's Sky 2, sadly. And that game just got revealed at the Game Awards a couple weeks ago. That new game that they're making is called Light No Fire, and it looks incredibly interesting from the title and a little bit of trailer and info that we got. So Light No Fire is an action adventure survival game where you explore a fantasy planet or Earth, and by planet I mean the planet. In a similar case to No Man's Sky, the world in Light No Fire will be procedurally generated, but according to Hello Games founder Sean Murray, every part of the world you can see is explorable. An example Sean uses is that if you see a mountain in the distance of your world, you'll be able to climb to the top of that, and not just your typical video game jumping up the mountain to climb it, Skyrim type thing. The game is actually going to allow you to physically scale the mountain as if it was programmed into the game. That aspect of the game seems the most interesting to me and pretty much everyone else, because I don't think we've seen this level of openness, so to speak, in open world games. The only other game series I can really think of that has this level of immersion with their open world is the Zelda Switch games, where most of the land is explorable and you're able to climb most structures that you see. Even those probably won't be up to this level of sheer capability and immersion. While most of the nitty-gritty details haven't really been released yet, we can speculate on what kind of gameplay this game will have based on the trailer that we got. For starters, it looks like the exploration will be similar to what we have in No Man's Sky, where you can, gather collectibles, resources, and visit structures left behind by other civilizations, which is great because this is the selling point of the game and it shouldn't be bogged down by shallow mechanics or rewards for exploring this vast world. I'm sure collecting resources will also be a big part of the game, since we have base building mechanics which seem to be a little bit more immersive than No Man's Sky. In the trailer, we can see individual characters carrying resources like wood and chopping down trees in order to construct a base. This makes me think that we'll have the option to build one big base for the whole party, or we can have individual bases for each person. A part of the exploration that worried me just a little bit is getting around, because in No Man's Sky we obviously have these spaceships that can go from one side of the planet to the other in such a short time. But what we have in a game that's in a medieval setting? Well, thankfully we can see the answer, which is flyable dragons. This is a very cool mechanic and a great way to address the problem of getting around quicker in a lore friendly manner. This mechanic also may not be exclusive to dragons, as we can see in a few seconds of footage of someone riding a giant bird creature as well. For the combat, we get a little bit of that in this trailer, and by a little bit I mean about a second. What we can see is a player using a bow and arrow to shoot some enemy creatures, and another one using a melee weapon to slash at some monsters. Those few seconds don't tell us a whole lot, but there are other moments of this trailer that we can analyze to find out more about the combat mechanics. For example, there's one part where a group of players are walking into this castle area. You can see some circular plates on a wall with faces on them, and one of the players actually has this plate as their shield on their back. Could this mean we can take parts of the environment as weapons, or is it just a reward from a quest in the area? We don't know. It's all speculation at this point. One other thing that I want to speculate on is if the game will have some type of player progression outside of building and exploring. Like, will there be skill trees? Will there be weapon crafting in the vein of games like Valheim? Again, we just don't know yet, and we probably won't know a little more for a little while, as we don't even have an expected release window for the game. Regardless of the speculation, what we can almost guarantee is that Hello Games and Sean Murray have learned a lot since the release of No Man's Sky back in 2016, and I'm hoping that means this game will not have a disastrous launch like its predecessor, and it'll release as a great second title in Hello Games' library. Sean Murray has stated that they've been working on the game for the past 5 years with about a dozen developers, including Sean himself, so that tells me that we can probably expect the mechanics to be pretty well thought out and expanded by the time the game releases. I have pretty high hopes for this new project, and I think maybe you should look forward to it also if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys are expecting from this game, especially if you were into No Man's Sky at some point. Subscribe to the channel for more interesting games and news. We're going to be covering some more interesting stuff from the Game Awards, like the new Blade game, possibly. So stay tuned to check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.